it is very difficult to get a good, solid shop to take on somebody else's poor repairs. Most people are only thinking about today. So they fix the car, the insurance company wants to pay the claim and get it resolved. Everything as fast as possible. And then once the car is delivered, everything's done, right? We need to fix the cars for tomorrow so that they last and they don't start to deteriorate.
Yes.
And that's a little piece that's missing in today's world when it comes to repairing vehicles.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Airing of Grievances. And as you can tell by our sets, yes, we have two sets today. I am still in Arkansas handling a family emergency. Everything is all right. We've got a good report, but it's going to take some time. And Rob is obviously back down there in Colorado. But before we get any further, if you're just joining us here, this is, as far as we know, the only consumer-focused, behind-the-scenes look into the collision industry. We call it the airing of grievances because the man sitting next to me is Robert Grieve, and we like plays on words. We also want to invite you, if you see something you like, click the subscribe button, click the notify bell, hit the thumbs up. All of those things really help us grow the channel. And boy, Rob, the channel's growing. It's doing well.
The heartwarming part is there's so many people that say thank you for it and that they've learned something or that it's helping them in some way, shape, or form. And that is the total purpose of this. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If we help one person, the project is a success. And many have reached out to us. And so on. It is our custom here at the Airing of Grievances to start our videos with a greeting of the celebratory type, including coffee. So, Rob, happy Saturday.
Go Rams. Happy Saturday.
Rams. That's the CSU Rams for those who don't know. And mine is the Winnie the Pooh kind today.
You can sing us a couple of bars.
No, we don't have to do that. All right. Rob, great to see you. Thank you for the flexibility in my schedule to be able to do this by Zoom. This is probably how we're going to do our videos for the next few weeks. Somewhere in there, I'm getting married. I'm getting married in 2 weeks from today, Rob. Can you believe that?
Congratulations, my friend.
So yeah, we're very excited. Tell us, set the stage for us with the story that we're going to bring today.
So, the one thing that I've been blessed with and is a little bit of a gift, that is the compassion and wanting to help people that have a problem that I have the ability to help with, myself and the team.
Sure.
And to yourself also for helping, share this stuff so other people can learn.
You bet.
And we got a call last week from a Subaru WRX STI owner. So Subaru owners are
special,
one of the most loyal to the Subaru brand. I mean, it's just, there's plenty of people that have cars, but people that have Subarus, that's a different thing.
Well, they even have their own name. They're Subis, right? You don't see that with even Toyotas. We're not Toyota-ys, but Subarus, right. And the Subis love their cars. That's for sure.
They do, and they're very particular about them. I always kid around that if Subaru sold gas, people, the Subaru owners would be going to find it and using that gas. They're just that loyal,
right?
And detailed. They love their cars. It's not just a car.
Right.
It's their Subaru.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Many of them have names. Uh, but the only one really more particular than a Subaru owner is a WRX STI owner.
Yeah.
Uh, they are really fanatical about their vehicles. And this gentleman called me and needed some help. So what do? We pick up the phone and start, tell me the story and how can we help?
Right.
And he had it fixed at one of the insurance companies, preferred, approved, whatever you want to call it, shops.
Oh,
Uh, and he went back several times to get it to where it was when I saw it this week. And this is the first time I've heard of this. An actual adjuster from the insurance company went to the shop that fixed it with on the final time giving it back to the guest and said, "Yep, good to go."
really?
Yeah.
All right.
And so fast forward, he's having problems with one of his tires wearing out. And he called the shop to say, "I've got a problem with the alignment. It's less than 1,000 miles, and the inside of my tire is worn off and the threads are showing."
What?
And the shop told him, "Yeah, we're all done working on this car. The insurance company has already given it the green light that it's good to go, and that's it." And then the next thing you know, he's given us a call. So let me just pop up a picture of the tire.
Whoa.
Yeah, if you look all the way on the inside of that tire, it's bald.
Yeah.
And then you can see that shiny line. Those are the radial threads sticking through. And a little closer picture is the next one, and you can clearly see where all those wires are coming through the tires, getting worn off.
Rob,
So
I'm not an expert in a lot of things. Uh, I'm an expert in a couple of things. And one of the things that I consider myself more well versed than many happens to be tire wear. And
yes,
I'll tell you why. Because I used to have a client who lost her husband to a blowout on an old tire, and he rolled and killed himself. And so she made it her mission to go around the country and purchase brand new tires in the name of her husband for people who needed them.
yep, I remember the story.
This
The
this is
wonderful giving person.
this is dangerous.
Right. So here's where we go. He sent me the pictures. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
This is this is not an inconvenience anymore. This is a safety issue.
that's right.
Have the insurance company tow the vehicle to us. He sends a message to the insurance company. Insurance company says, "We inspected it at the shop and everything was fine. And if you want to tow it someplace, feel free to do so until we hear that there's something related to the claim. We're off the project, basically, but keep us posted."
Wow.
So, I'm talking to him and he says, "Look, I have another set of wheels and tires for winter." I said, "Put those on, put the two front tires in the car so that I can see them, and then just drive it down." So he did that, and we got it into the shop and started taking a look around. So let me see my pictures here. Yeah, there's a picture of it in the shop.
Yep.
White WRX right there. Um, Normally the shop is much, much busier, but we were just in the middle of cleaning up and stuff. So
Sure.
we left it inside because it was snowing outside. Anyway, and you'll see on the stand, which I'm going to show a better picture in a few minutes,
Okay.
one of the tools that we used, which is called a tram gauge. But we'll get to that in a minute.
All right.
So moving on to the next picture is the front bumper. And I have to tell you, at my first glance looking at this vehicle, I was like, they did a very nice job on this. I'm telling you, 90% of the people would take this and never look at it again. But some people are more detail oriented. And so here's the front bumper. And I'm going to zoom into that lower mark on the bumper that I made, that red mark on the bumper.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
That's paint chipping away.
Wow.
And that's going to continue to grow. It's just going to continue to flake off. It's not going to stay like that.
Sure.
But, many of these STI owners are parts of clubs and so on and so forth. They meet regularly, go on drives, have, different events, and nobody wants to have theirs look like that.
Sure. Absolutely.
And while it's not a huge deal and it's certainly not a safety concern, it's details. It's details. If we go to the next picture, I took this because the gap in that door, this thing was hit in the front on that fender that you're seeing there.
Right.
Obviously, this is a replacement fender, but it was pushed back quite a bit. The fender was, and it hit that upper rail where you see the highest red mark. And then on the door, it hit there as well, just the edge of it, and chipped the paint. Wow. The other thing there is that gap on the door to the fender is about 1.5 millimeters tighter than the other side.
Really?
So, whenever we do these post-repair inspections, we weren't there during the repairs. We didn't see the car at the accident scene. So we're trying to uncover and put our investigative hat on as to where we are and what might have happened.
Sure.
During the repairs and during the accident. And so the next picture, I kind of zoomed in a little closer to that upper rail. It's called the windshield pillar, because that's the windshield right next to it. And you see that line that we just saw in the other picture.
Yep.
Now we're going to zoom in one more time, and you can see all the chipping paint and that it hasn't been sanded. And
oh yeah, in
yeah,
the gap.
Inside the gap, yeah, which is going to trap dirt, and that will continue to peel. And here's the one thing that's problematic today for anybody in a car crash that gets the vehicle repaired, is that most people are only thinking about today. So they fix the car, the insurance company wants to pay the claim and get it resolved. Everything as fast as possible. And then once the car is delivered, everything's done, right? We need to fix the cars for tomorrow so that they last and they don't start to deteriorate.
Yes.
And that's a little piece that's missing in today's world when it comes to repairing vehicles. But this is a clear, that fender during the accident went back and hit that pillar, and they didn't sand it out. They didn't paint it properly. And it just looks horrible. Again, not a big safety concern, but if you're particular about your car, you're not going to like that.
And we already established that Subis with WRXs, STIs are especially particular.
They really are.
Yeah.
So Going to the next picture, which is the fender, headlight, and hood.
Yeah.
You see that gap where the headlight isn't fitting into the fender properly.
Sure do.
And that right there was, oh, okay, now what's wrong? Why? Why is it not fitting? Is it a fender issue? Is it something else? We got to figure that out. Is it an aftermarket headlight? Is it an aftermarket fender? What are all these things? Going through the estimate, this shop chose to buy all OEM parts for this vehicle, so my hat's off to them.
Okay.
So we had an original equipment fender from Subaru, original equipment headlight from Subaru, original equipment bumper from Subaru. That's all good news.
Yeah, but if they don't fit,
there's something wrong.
Right?
There's something wrong. Next thing we do is now open up the hood to start looking inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a picture of the driver's side fender. And if you look inside the fender, you'll see that it's like a greeny coat with some white sprayed on it.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next picture.
That looks significantly different.
Yes, it's definitely different. It's lacking, that same treatment that the other fender had. So what's a big deal? What's the big deal? Again, it's not a safety issue. Could be a potential corrosion protection issue in the future, but it's not the same.
It's a value issue.
What do we always want to get back to when we're grading our repairs or whatever, is we want pre-loss condition, the way it was before the loss. And so any used car person or any STI owner that was going to buy it from this person opens up the hood and can clearly see that it's been damaged and repaired. To what extent, they probably wouldn't know.
Right.
Know that one side is not like the other. So just, it's a little telltale. We always paint the insides of the fenders to match the other fender, and it's just the way to go. So the next picture, we call that an upper rail.
Okay.
The like a circle and a mark towards the rear.
Yeah.
If we zoom in on that mark towards the rear, what you're seeing there is all hammer marks, because this rail was significantly damaged. And that's all hammer marks and tooling marks from trying to get it pounded back into shape. A little sanding and painting would have gone a long way. And going to the next picture where the circle is, that's still a dent in the rail that is not supposed to be there. And again, what you're doing is you're interrupting the flow of energy should it get hit in the front. Again, you're creating a weak spot that wasn't designed there previously. And you can also see those hammer marks and how that metal is kind of all still wonky and distorted a little bit.
Sure.
Which could be part of the reason why that fender gap is so tight to the door. Maybe there's, something going on here. Well, there's definitely something going on here. How much of effect it has on anything else, that's what we're not sure of.
Right.
But let's take a look at underneath the backside of where all this is. And you'll see that there's all sorts of tooling and
scrapes
and marks and pounding and whatever in there as well.
Yeah.
And again, that should all have been sanded and painted, because that will rust. Um, but it is showing that, there's still some distortion in there. Our next picture, I go back to the picture of it in the shop, and then I circled the tram gauge.
Right.
And the tram gauge it's a brilliant piece of equipment, but it's as simple as could be.
Okay.
It's a straight piece of metal, and it's got two pokers that can be adjusted. So you stick one poker in a hole on one side of the car, and then you go over to the other side of the car, find another hole that's the same on both sides, and you put the pin in it and you tighten it all up. Then you do it in reverse to the other side. And if everything's square, it should go right into the holes.
Sure.
Let's take a look. So our first picture, this one kind of shows you how it's being used.
Yes.
But go to the next picture, you'll see that I made a mark on the radiator support of where the pointer lands.
That doesn't look to be a hole.
It's not sitting in the hole right next to it. So what is that? 5 millimeters, 6 millimeters off of the center of that hole. So the front end is moved over. The upper structure is not square. And I think I have one more picture. And that's doing the other side, and you'll see the same problem going on the other side.
I sure do.
So what that means is if everything was square, everything would be fitting right into the holes.
Right.
But because it's not, that means there's shifting in there.
That would cause the headlight to protrude.
That absolutely could be indicative of why that headlight is doing that and why the fender doesn't line up.
Well, Rob, I got a question. Could that possibly cause a misalignment in the front wheels?
You never know. Because, well, here's the thing. We're only measuring the upper structure.
Right.
To measure the lower structure would have been a lot more money. And at this point in time, we had no commitment, from anybody to spend a lot of money.
Right.
So we wanted to do some easy, looking around and seeing what we could find without spending a ton of money right up front. So we got the adjuster and the supervisor from the insurance company to come to the shop and look at it, with the guest there as well.
All right.
And they agreed. They could see all the problems. They understood that. We did the tramming again right in front of them so that they could see what was going on. And, they asked about the alignment. And I said, I really can't comment on the alignment yet. Alignments are not our specialty. I could put it on the frame machine, measure the frame, and make sure that that's right first. And then sometimes there's suspension points that we can measure that will give us more information. But really what I would suggest at this point is it gets towed to a Subaru dealer, and let a Subaru dealer do an alignment on the vehicle. And let's verify, what that comes up with. That will be a lot less expensive. And the guest agreed with that as well. So it's still at the shop, and it's going to be heading to the Subaru dealer for an alignment, which is, the next step. This is going to be a very painful journey for the guest if they don't decide to total this vehicle. I'm not suggesting that it's a total, but I'm not going to fix the car because I know what it would take to fix the car, and I'm not going to take on the liability of another shop because I don't know everything that they did.
Sure.
You know what I can see. And to fix some of that stuff, it's going to require unwelding stuff that they've already welded in, welding in new pieces. Those pieces they have to take out are probably going to be sacrificial at that point. New pieces are going to have to go in. Uh, it's, there's a lot going on here. And the guest is now faced with who's going to do it
Yeah.
if they don't total the vehicle. It is very difficult to get a good, solid shop to take on somebody else's poor repairs.
Sure.
Plus, at this point, the insurance company has to back up the repairs because they took it to one of their approved shops. So there's an overlying warranty, not only from the shop, but from the insurer as well. My guess is, and a lot is going to depend on this whole alignment thing, what they find. They may find that the frame is what the suspension is mounted to is not straight. That is a real possibility. I don't know what they're going to find.
Sure.
I know that the top is not straight. The guest is in for a little bit of a journey with this thing. He does have some legal representation that is going to help him. But this insurer, he asked for alternate transportation, and they're like, "Well, let's get the alignment done first." And I'm like, "Excuse me, the alignment is one thing.
Right.
You already know there's all this other stuff
Right.
that is not right. Let's just get them in a car." But no, they're resisting. And today I've been saying it over and over again, and every day it does get worse. It's a horrible time to have an accident and get things fixed with the way the insurers are handling things today. They don't care. They want it off their plate. They want it fixed as quickly and as cheaply as possible, and then close it out and be done with it, never to hear from you again. And if they do, we're going to find some way to push you off. You need to be able to have somebody in your back pocket that does stuff like we do, that will advocate on your behalf and help hold their feet to the fire. So,
Yeah.
and that's what we do.
It is what we do, and it's what you have become known far and wide for doing.
There's lots of great people out there doing this. So,
Of course, there are, and it's our joy and responsibility to bring you these stories. We say it often, but I'll say it again. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section below. If you have need of help with your situation, here's our phone number. Give us a call.
even just some advice, we're happy to just give you some advice, or point you in the right direction, or say, "Hey, all stop."
Right. Rob, thanks so much for bringing this to us. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and you've brought several thousand to our attention today.
Yep.
Uh, Grateful for, again, each and every one of you guys. If you've made it this far into the video, do us a favor, click that like button and share this video with other people. That lets YouTube know that this is, between liking and commenting and sharing, those three things, all of which are free,
Yep.
help YouTube share this to more people. And the more people that are reached, the greater the opportunity for safety.
Yeah. And the most important piece is, if you see a couple little things that are bothering you, there may be more, and they may be more substantial than what you think. And you need to get a professional to give you a hand.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, that's what I have for today. Eric, thanks so much for going through all this technical stuff to get us on board here today.
Well, and thanks to our audience for sticking with us. It's a challenging end of year, but we're going to make it work, and we're grateful for each and every one of you. By the time you're watching this, Thanksgiving has already taken place, so happy belated Thanksgiving from Rob and I. And I can't believe it. Christmas is right around the corner. So uh, thank you again for watching, folks. We will be back again next week. And Rob, happy Saturday to you from Winnie the Pooh
Go Rams.
and me.
God bless you, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us today, and I hope you found something interesting. We will see you next Saturday. God bless. Stay safe.